Hey everybody, Richard Rossicone here. A couple of weeks ago I did a blog for my blog space at guitarworld.com involving melodic tapping patterns using common tones. And I got a lot of great response from it, a lot of positive feedback. Thank you for checking it out. Thanks for the positive feedback and all that kind of fun stuff. But people were requesting a video, so here's the video for it. So this video is entitled Melodic Tapping Sequences Using Common Tones. You're probably wondering what common tones are. Common tones are tones that are common between chord progressions. To make chord progressions sound smoother, we use something called common tones, tones that are common between each chord. So the progression we're going to be using today is a 1, 6, 4, 2, 5, 1 in the key of G. So the chords are going to be G, E minor, C, A minor, D, and G. Okay? So G, which is the 1 chord in the key of G major, E minor, which is the 6th chord, C, which is the 4 chord, A minor, which is the 2 chord, D, which is the 5 chord, and G, which is the 1 chord. So this is a 1, 6, 4, 2, 5, 1 progression in the key of G. I'm going to use some common tones. I'm going to use some special tapping sequence to make it sound really cool. Incidentally, this tapping sequence was used by the late, great, and brilliant Randy Rhoads. He would take different chord shapes over chord progressions and break up the chord into arpeggios and use tapping patterns over it. So in case you're wondering what an arpeggio is a broken chord. Here's a G chord, played all together. But if in case if you want to break the chord up into an arpeggio, that's going to be the single notes, which are G, B, and D. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the chords, I'm going to break up the chords into melodic tapping sequences using arpeggios. So here we go, let's begin. So the first chord, like we said, in the key, by the way, I'm playing with very little gain because I want everyone to hear what the chords are going to sound like and what the sequence is going to sound like. We'll jack the gain up a little bit later, so, all right? Here we go. So the first chord, like we said, is G chord, the 1 chord in the key of G major. And those notes are going to be G, B, and D, okay? And so all these tapping sequences are going to be found on the first string. So we're going to break the G chord up into an arpeggio on the first string. We're going to play the G on the first string, 3rd fret, the B on the first string, 7th fret, and the D, which is the tapping note, on the first string, 10th fret. So again, G on the 3rd fret of the first string, B on the 7th fret of the first string, and D on the 10th fret of the first string. And here's how the sequence is going to sound. Here's the chord, and here's the tapping sequence. Chord, tapping sequence. All right, cool. Now the next chord is going to be the 6th chord, which is E minor. So now we have to find the common tones to make it a little easier to play. A little smoother, I should say. Not easier, but smoother. So the G, like we said, has a G, B, and a D. The E minor chord, which is the 6th chord, has an E, G, and B. So what are the common tones between the G chord and the E minor chord? Well, the common tone is going to be G and B. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep the G on the first string, 3rd fret, the B on the first string, 7th fret. I'm going to put the E, which is the tapping note, here at the first string, 12th fret. That's the E right there. So once again, here's the E minor chord, E, G, and B. And on the first string, the arpeggio is going to be the G over here on the first string, 3rd fret, the B on the first string, 7th fret, and the E on the first string, 12th fret. So we're keeping the G and the B. We don't have to move these fingers. We just have to move the tapping note, which is right here. So here's how the sequence sounds. Here's how the chord sounds. Chord, sequence. Chord, sequence. So here's how the chords sound in succession. G, E minor. Here's how the tapping sequences sound. G, G, E minor. Again, G, E minor. And there we go. Okay, so now the next chord is going to be the 4 chord, which is a C chord. Okay, so the notes in a C chord are going to be C, E, and G. Now, what are the common tones between the E minor chord, which is the 6th chord, and the 4 chord, which is the C chord? Well, the common tones are going to be the G and the E. Okay, so we're going to keep the G on the 1st string, 3rd fret. We're going to keep the E on the 1st string, 12th fret, which is the tapping note, and we're going to stretch all the way to the 8th fret of the 1st string, and that is the C. Okay, so you have this, the G on the 1st string, 3rd fret, the E on the 1st string, 8th fret, and the E on the 1st string, 12th fret. Okay, so that's a long stretch, so I'm trying real hard to keep my left hand relaxed. It's a big stretch, I know, but you'll be okay. Just keep your hand relaxed. If you feel any pain, just stop immediately and kind of stretch and come back to it later. But so here we go. Here's how the chord's going to sound, and here's how the tapping sequence sounds. Chord, sequence. So here's how the chords sound in succession. Here we go. G, E minor, C. Now the tapping patterns. G, E minor, C. Once again, chords. G, E minor, C. Tapping patterns. G, E minor, C. There you go. Okay, so that's the 4 chord. Now the next chord in the progression is the 2 chord, which in this case is going to be the A minor chord. So what are the common tones between C and A minor? Well, the C, like we said, has C, E, and G in it, and the 2 chord, which is A minor, spells out with the notes A, C, and E. Okay, so the common tones between the C and the A minor chord are going to be the C at the 8th fret of the 1st string, the E, which is the tapping note on the 12th fret of the 1st string, and now we're going to move up to the A, which is the 5th fret of the 1st string. So now the A minor chord is going to be the A at the 1st string, 5th fret, the C, which is one of the common tones, at the 8th fret of the 1st string, and the E, which is another one of the common tones, and the tapping note on the 12th fret of the 1st string. So here's how the chord sounds. Here's how the tapping sequence sounds. Chord, tapping sequence. So here's how the chords sound. G, 1 chord, E minor chord, which is the 6th chord, C chord, which is the 4 chord, and the A minor chord, which is the 2 chord. Here's how the tapping sequences sound. I'm going to turn the gain up a little bit, put in the back pickup just a little bit. Here we go. So G, E minor, C, A minor. Once again, G, E minor, C, A minor. And there you go. So the next chord and the last chord is going to be a D chord. Okay, I know that a 5 chord in any key is going to be a dominant 7th chord, but we're dealing with triads now. So we're not extending out the chord, so we're dealing with triads. So in this case, instead of a D 7th chord, it's going to be a D major chord. So the D chord, the notes in a D chord are going to be D, F sharp, and A. Okay, so what are the common tones between the A minor chord, which is the 2 chord, and the D chord, which is the 5 chord? Well, the D, like we said, has D, F sharp, and A in it. And the only common tone is going to be that A. So we're going to keep the A on the 1st string, 5th fret, move our hand down to play the F sharp here, 1st string, 2nd fret. I'm going to move the tapping note, which is going to be the 10th fret of the 1st string, which is D. So once again, the D chord is going to have the F sharp here on the 1st string, 2nd fret, the A, which is the common tone between the A minor and the D chord, on the 1st string, 5th fret, and the D, which is the tapping note on the 1st string, 10th fret. And here's how the sequence sounds. Here's how the chord sounds. And the sequence. Chord, sequence. So here's how the chord sounds. Here's how the chords sound in succession. G, 1 chord. E minor, 6 chord. C, which is the 4 chord. A minor, 2 chord. D, which is the 5 chord. And here's how the tapping sounds. G, E minor, C, A minor, D7, D, sorry. Once again, G, E minor, C, A minor, D. Just one more time for the game up a little bit. Here we go. G, A minor, sorry, 1 more time. G, E minor, C, A minor, D, and there we go. Last but not least, we're going back to the 1 chord, which is the G chord. And like we said from the original position and the original chord and progression, the notes in a G chord are going to be G, B, and D. So what are the common tones between the D chord and the G chord? Well, the only common tone is going to be this note, the D. So we're going to slide our hand back to the original position, and here is the notes. We have the D, the G, which is at the 1st string 3rd fret, the B, which is at the 1st string 7th fret, and we have the D, which is the common tone and the tapping note on the 1st string 10th fret. Okay? So again, the G chord is the original position, G, B, and D. G is on the 1st string 3rd fret, B is on the 1st string 7th fret, and D is on the 1st string 10th fret. And it's the original chord in the original position. So here we go. G. That's the original sequence. So the chords all together. Here we go. G, E minor, C, A minor, D, G. I can clean it up a little bit. G is the 1 chord, E minor is the 6th chord, C is the 4 chord, A minor is the 2 chord, D is the 5 chord, back to the 1 chord, the G. And here's how the sequence is going to sound. G, E minor, C, A minor, D, G. So the chords. So we're going to turn the gain up a little bit and kind of just go for it. Here we go. Here's the whole melodic tapping, the melodic tapping sequence we just learned. So here we go. I'll turn the gain up a little bit, turn the volume up a little bit, and here it is. So the 1 chord, G, 6 chord, E minor, 4 chord, C, 2 chord, A minor, 5 chord, D, back to the 1 chord, G. All together, here we go. Here's how it sounds all together without me telling you, speaking over it. So here we go. One more time. And there you go. Melodic tapping sequences using common tones. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out my website, axgrinder.com, and check out my blog space at guitarworld.com entitled The Complete Guitarist. So one more time, we'll do that sequence. Here we go.